Episode 9 is set to include many different twists and turns, as well as surprises by writer and director J.J. Abrams and Chris Terrio. This is Mike Zero. If you guys are new to the channel, do make sure to subscribe to see future Star Wars content. Now, one thing that a lot of people are really looking forward to is, of course, exactly what J.J. is going to do with the characters of Luke Skywalker, Rey, and even Kylo Ren in this story. Now, these past couple of weeks or so, we've been learning a whole lot more about this film when it comes to some of the set leaks, the set designs, the concept art and storyboard descriptions, etc. One of which has all to do with one of the set designs involving Mark Hamill, Adam Driver, and Daisy Ridley, and an unnamed actor. Now, specifically, what's really intriguing is that it's said that Mark Hamill shot a sequence with Adam Driver in which he was placed in front of a green screen inside of a throne room of some kind. It's said that Driver was sitting on a throne for the sequence. It's additionally said that one of the visual effects for Hamill is to create multiple versions of Luke that eventually morph into one. It's described that the plan is to create 3 different versions of Luke for a very brief sequence that will serve as an explanation of how a Force ghost can appear younger or older. Hamill was said to be walking closer to Adam with the green screen behind him, where it's said the other 2 versions of Luke will be filled in later. It's said that this is to show that Force ghosts have abilities and evolves the concept of what was done with Yoda in The Last Jedi. Another sequence involved Daisy Ridley holding Kylo's lightsaber ignited in front of a cloaked figure that is likely to be the new villain in the film. It's described that Daisy was lifted by wirework, where the unnamed actor in the cloak raised his hand where Daisy eventually drops the saber hilt on the floor. So I want to go over a couple of parts about this that are getting me very excited for this movie, and the whole entire concept of Force ghosts and the netherworld of the Force, and of course Jedi Master Luke Skywalker. Now, this most definitely lines directly up with what we heard just a couple of days ago about one of Luke's entrances in this movie, where he'll actually be creating this whirl of wind that actually blows Kylo Ren backward. Now, I don't know if you guys heard about that, but that's a very interesting sequence that was filmed for sure. Now, in this scenario, one of the major effects that are to be done is to add in 2 different versions of Luke behind the actual version of Luke that is being portrayed by Mark Hamill that eventually morph into one being, one actual Force ghost, where each version of Luke appears different in front of Kylo. Now, this to me sounds like that JJ really wants to do something, you know, pretty much outlandish that may or may not agree with some fans out there. I will admit it does sound a little weird about having 3 different versions of Luke for a very brief sequence that eventually morph into one Force ghost. Now, I doubt that it's going to be lengthy. I don't think that you're going to see this, you know, where 3 versions of Luke are just standing there. I think the reason as to why Mark Hamill is walking closer and closer to Adam Driver while he's sitting on his throne with the green screen in back of Mark Hamill is because as he's walking toward Adam, you're going to actually have these visual effects being added in where the 2 other versions of Luke morph as he walks. That's what I'm seeing everything here. Now, what really does interest me, though, is the Force Ghost version of Luke Skywalker. I know that a lot of people are really not all too excited about this, but I think that, you know, what J.J. Abrams is really trying to do here is he's trying to introduce the concept of that piece of dialogue from Obi-Wan in Star Wars A New Hope, where he says, "Strike me down and I will become more powerful than you could possibly imagine." I think that J.J. wants to explore more sides to that story and exactly what that could mean in Episode 9. Now, we do know that one of the big entrances by, of course, Luke Skywalker in the film, like I said before, is where Luke appears out of nowhere through thin air in front of Kylo Ren, causing a whirl of destruction around him. Now, in this scenario, it's 3 different versions of Luke morphing into one, and it kind of reminds me of something from another film. I forgot the name of it, but I saw it years and years ago. It sounds something similar in a sense, but if you look at Episode 9 as a whole, you do know that J.J. Abrams is trying to innovate the concept of Force ghosts, and will even be introducing new aspects of the netherworld of the Force. It could also have something to do with that. Also, the Beyond. We're not quite sure what the Beyond is or means as of yet. Now, the other sequence that does tie into, in my belief, one of the new villains is, of course, where Daisy Ridley was on set holding and wielding Kylo Ren's ignited lightsaber against the cloaked figure being portrayed by an unnamed actor on the set. Now, this to me sounds like it ties in with the duel between both Kylo Ren and this new villain in Episode 9, where Kylo is out of the equation in this scenario. So this whole entire sequence where she's wielding the crossguard lightsaber, it seems as though that J.J. Abrams took a glance at Episode 8 and saw the visuals of that in Snoke's throne room and wanted to expand off of that and do something incredible in this movie. So anyways, guys, what do you think about the whole entire Luke and Adam Driver sequence, Kylo Ren, and of course the sequence involving both, of course, Rey and the new cloaked figure, which is most likely the new villain in Episode 9. Anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
Night to moon, we hear them moans again.